Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Thursday, May 29th, 2025. And a little bit later getting out this morning. It's worked last night. We had the State of Origin on at the pub. I tried to watch it. Look, I'm just not feeling it, unfortunately. Good on, is it New South Wales who won? I tried to watch it, but being an AFL guy, it's just a hard watch. I don't understand it. But geez, they are warriors, aren't they? Oh, geez, they hit each other hard, and in very, very good nick are the boys. So good on them. Full credit to them. You know, if you're a New South Wales supporter, congratulations. I think the next one's in about another month's time or something like that. So yeah, if you watched the game last night, I hope you enjoyed it. But I got home late, so I've gone out just half an hour later than normal this morning, which is probably good because I've missed all the little, what do you call it, the traffic in the morning. Everyone out walking the dogs before work, so that's sort of good. And come on, buddy. All right, let's get into it, into the boxing. On this day, May 29th, 2016, Tony Bellew, the Bomber, won the WBC Cruiserweight belt when he defeated Ilunga Makuba in Liverpool. I don't know whether he won the belt or retained the belt from memory, but he did beat Ilunga Makuba on this day. Also on this day, one of the greats, Tony Zale, was born. Now, what year was it? I'll just have to look it up there. Sorry, I haven't got my notes ready this morning. May. Where is it? Tony Zale, 1913. So he'd be 112 today if he was still alive. Of course, he held the middleweight title multiple times, had the nickname of the Man of Steel, did Tony Zale, and he certainly was a very, very tough customer back in the day. He had some ripper fights over the years, but yes, he was born on this day in 1913. All right, so last night they had the fights on. I missed it because I was at work in Japan. So Eduardo Nunes with a 12-round decision over Masanori Rikishi for the IBF 130-pound title. The scores 117, 111, 116, 112, and 115, 113. So I'm going to check out the replay a little bit later on when I get home. But by all accounts, it was a ripper fight, so I'll check that one out. On the undercard, former Jason Maloney opponent Yoshiki Takai had a first-round knockout in defence of his WBO bantamweight title, the same belt that he took off Jason. What was it, about a year ago? I think it was about a year. So I'll check that out as well. But geez, they put on good fight nights over in Japan. Always really well-matched fights. The crowd are a little odd, I suppose you would say. Not the usual raucous, is that the word, raucous crowd that you get in England or Las Vegas or somewhere like that. But I think they show the respect and appreciation in a different way. They're very, very polite. They do sort of the golf clap when a fighter wins. But either way, apparently, talking to the Maloney boys over there, they treat the fighters really, really well. They're very, very appreciative of what they do. A lot of respect shown, a lot of appreciation, and they get really behind their fighters over there in Japan. But a little bit of a bucket list thing for me to maybe get over there at some stage and get to a fight. I think it'd be great. I have actually attempted to get over there when Jason's fought both times over there, but just haven't been able to get it done just with timing and things going on in the business and family and everything else happening. But maybe one day if the boys fight back over there again, we'll see. Now, I saw in the news yesterday, well, it's not really news sort of thing, but I saw an interview with David Benavidez' dad. And this is probably going to be a matter of debate for a lot of people, but he just said Canelo's legacy will be forever tainted if he doesn't fight his son, David Benavidez. I'm just a little bit perplexed at the moment why the argument is still raging, I suppose, or relevant about Canelo fighting Benavidez. Now, I understand when David was at 168 that Canelo could have and should have fought David Benavidez. Obviously, it was the biggest fight in the division. Just going to cross over here, man. Got some workers out here doing some major renovations on a house here, some sort of mansion that I can't see because it's behind some big hedge. But he said his legacy will be forever tainted. Now again, I understand that at the time it was the biggest fight out there. I get that, but David Benavidez has since moved up to light heavyweight. He's had 2 fights up there. This way, buddy. So I don't understand the infatuation still with Canelo from his dad. I understand he's still obviously trying to keep the coals hot, I suppose, on the fight, but I just think they've both moved on. And regardless of whether you think that Canelo should have fought Benavidez, and yes, he should have, I get that. He was a WBC #1 ranked challenger for a long time, and Canelo took a lot of fights that he probably could have easily chosen Benavidez instead, but I think just the ship sailed. I think to Benavidez's dad, just let it go. It's not going to happen. Canelo's got his 4 fights. He's had 1 fight of those 4 already. He's William School. He's got Terence Crawford coming up next. It'll be Chris Eubank after that. And if all goes to the script, it will be Dimitri Bivol in probably his last fight. So before everyone says, well, you know, he's Duckello and all this sort of stuff, and he didn't fight him, he's a ducker, and I get that. And I agree that he should have fought Benavidez. But at this stage, I just think Canelo's moved on. I think as fans, we've sort of moved on a little bit, and I think we're all a little bit dirty about the fact that he didn't fight him. But as I said, look, and again, I've always stuck by Canelo's decision that if I was in the position he was in as well, I probably would do the same. And I don't think it's necessarily, well, we'll call it ducking, not fighting Benavidez. I don't think it's a matter of Canelo not fighting him because he's scared of him and his legacy and all this sort of stuff. I mean, it's Canelo Alvarez. He's fought some killers out there on the journey. This is the guy that took on Triple G 3 times. Now, even like just in the first Triple G fight alone, I mean, Triple G undefeated was you talk about killers. Now, I think Triple G's twice the fighter that David Benavidez is, and Canelo fought him no problems. So I don't think it's about that. I just think it was a business decision, and shit happens. Canelo and his team have gone a certain way. Now, do I agree with him fighting the likes of John Ryder instead of Benavidez? They're probably not. Okay, and definitely a William School. Actually, William School you've got to take out because it's since Benavidez has moved up. So I get that, but business decision wise, I get it. And yes, I'm not happy about it, but does it really define Canelo's legacy? Or when he retires, we're really going to look back and say, yes, great fighter, fought the likes of Mayweather and Cotto and Triple G and all the rest of the great fighters he's fought over the journey. But because he didn't fight David Benavidez, it doesn't make him a great fighter. I mean, come on. Do we really look at someone like a Floyd Mayweather Jr. and say he's not a great fighter because maybe he moved up before he fought Costa Tszyu? I mean, come on. I mean, we've got to be serious about it. And again, fully agree that he should have fought Benavidez. I get he should have. But in my eyes, is he really affected by it? No. He's going to be... I don't think he's going to catch Chavez as being the greatest Mexican of all time, but easily for me, the second best Mexican of all time. And he's going to sail into the sunset with nearly $1 billion under his belt. So good on him, I say. But just got to remember, this is a business. This is a business, and you've got to make business decisions just like Floyd Mayweather did. And this is the reason why they're worth so much money. And have got the legacies that they have because they're smart. They make the right decisions. They just don't fight everyone willy-nilly and cop losses and punishment and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, everyone's got their own opinion. I'm sure there'll be a few out there that strongly disagree with me and say that his legacy is forever tainted no matter what happens because he didn't fight David Benavidez. I mean, what has David Benavidez done? Like this is not, say, avoiding a Triple G, another great fighter who... You know, he'd beat, well, unfortunately, Triple G didn't really have a lot of those legacy fights, did he? Because there's no one really around. But it's not like, David Benavidez, he's not fighting a Triple G or someone like that. I mean, it's David Benavidez, very, very good fighter. I get that, but this guy's not a superstar. He's not going to be, I don't think, remembered as an all-time great and, you know, in the likes or in the same category of someone like a Canelo and Triple G and the Haglers and Hearns and these types of guys. He's just not. So I don't understand all the kerfuffle about it. It's simply, it is what it is. But anyway, Again, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that disagree with me strongly, and that's fine. That's cool, no stress. I'll tell you one fighter that's probably licking his wounds this morning is Teofimo Lopez. I'm not sure whether you saw it on social media. It has been reported. Well, all the sites are over it. Teofimo Lopez, obviously a little bit frustrated, has put on X. He's tagged, is that what you call it on X? Turki Al Sheikh with the term dictator, but the dick is spelled D-I-C-K in capital letters. Now, obviously, Teofimo is a little bit frustrated at maybe not having the Boots Ennis fight tied up or whatever. Something has got under his skin, and he's vented his frustration on X, and then later on tweeted. Is that what they still call it? What is it when now on X? It used to be tweeted, whatever it is, posted that he's just been fired, and this might be the end for Teofimo Lopez. Talk about a guy that just loves to sabotage his own career, doesn't he? I mean, regardless of what we all think about Turki Al Sheikh, we've all had our say and we've all got our opinions, and that's fine. But the facts are, at the moment, the guy does run boxing at this stage. I mean, whatever form it is you agree with or don't agree with, that's fine. But geez, when you've got a guy that's writing 8-figure checks for your fights and has got some big fights planned for you, I'm not sure you want to call him a dictator on X. I just think the culture of the Saudis might not react that kindly to a comment like that on a public forum. It's a little bit different if you're having a bit of beef with Oscar De La Hoya or Bob Arum or Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn. I've just got a feeling the Saudis might not take to that kindly, hence why looks like he's been fired. So I'm sure maybe, look, this has happened before. I'm sure Teo and maybe his team will have a call with Turki Al Sheikh, and he'll apologise and all the rest of it, and maybe they'll kiss and make up, who knows. But Teofimo Lopez, mate, there's a time and a place, and that certainly wasn't the time or the place to be getting stuck into the man that runs boxing at the moment. So we'll see what happens with old Teo. Maybe he's got to go back and maybe knock on Bob Arum's door or someone like that. I'll tell you whose door he could knock on, by the way, is Don King. I didn't know he was still active. 93 years of age, and I read he's just won the purse bid for the Kubrat Palev and Michael Hunter fight. I think that's going to take place in August for that WBA. Now, it's not the interim title. It's some sort of secondary title. I get mixed up with all the WBA belts these days, but it is for a secondary WBA belt. Now, I got that right, didn't I? Kubrat Pulev, yeah, that's right, and Michael Hunter. So 93 years of age, and Don King still at it. That is amazing. I had no idea he was still promoting. So we all give Bob Arum the pats on the back. Bob was probably doing it at a lot bigger scale, of course, but Don King's still active out there. And whether you like him or not, one of the most influential figures in the history of boxing. He's been part of some mega fights over the years. Obviously, he bought probably the biggest one he's probably brought together was the Ali and Foreman fight in Zaire. He was the man that got that over the line. And look at promoter of Larry Holmes and Mike Tyson and all those big guys over the journey. So he has rolled a few up the wrong way, old Don King, but still just an icon of the sport. Again, whether you like him or not and you think he's done good or bad things for boxing, he's been involved in some of the most biggest or the biggest fights in boxing history. I did see as well that Anthony Joshua has gotten through his operation. Okay, I did mention that the other day, but Eddie Hearn has mentioned that his comeback fight, if it's not Tyson Fury, could be Dillian Whyte. Of course, we've got to roll out Dillian, don't we? I'm surprised it's not Derek Chisora, to be honest, but it's Dillian Whyte or Jared Big Baby Anderson are going to be the two opponents. Now, I'm just looking for Neil here. I've got no idea where he's gone here. Oh, there he is there. But he... yeah, they're the two opponents that they're looking at for him at the moment. Once his elbow is all good, or his shoulder, whatever it was. But geez, a little bit underwhelming as far as opponents goes. I understand he's got to have the comeback fight after fighting Fury. After fighting Dubois. But yeah, to roll out Dillian Whyte again, I mean, surely we can do a little bit better than that. I understand the the division's not that deep at the moment. I understand that, but Dillian White, I think, yeah, as I said, he could do better. Big baby Miller, Anderson, yeah, maybe, but he's got a little bit of the road to come back as well. But maybe they're just looking at a winnable fight for him to to get him back on track. And I actually had someone ask me the other day about the heavyweights, about, Jesus, cockies everywhere around here at the moment. You can probably hear him there. What's happened to the American heavyweights? Some people have asked. And I suppose it's a very, very good question, because the heavyweights these days, it's all about, come here, buddy. That's what it is. He's stuck it. There's a heap of trees there and he's got himself caught up in there, little bugger. But yeah, it's a very, very good question. It got sent to me a few days ago. What has happened to the American heavyweights? And I wish I had the answer. Do you think it's a matter of maybe a lot of those old countries that weren't allowed to have fighters turn pro, like the Russians and the Cubans? But then again, that's been around for a while and we've had some good heavyweights. But I suppose, who has been the last really decent heavyweight out there? And you've got to think back. I mean, the first thing to go to was maybe someone like a Deontay Wilder. He held the WBC belt, but really, I mean, was he an elite fighter? Probably not. I wish I had the answer. I really do. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think, but I just think all the other countries have caught up. Maybe it's just a generational thing. It's just a cycle we're going through where there's none around. But geez, there hasn't been one good American heavyweight for quite some time, has there? I remember definitely back in the days when I first started following boxing. You know, it was when Larry Holmes was king, and the likes of Spinks and Witherspoon and all these sort of guys were around, and the biggest fights in history were all in the heavyweight division. And then, of course, Mike Tyson came along, and I went right through Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe and all these guys. And it's almost like since the Klitschko sort of took over the heavyweight division that we just haven't been able to get a really heavyweight superstar since. So it's a very, very good question. And again, I wish I had the answer, but I don't. I'm hoping it's just a generational thing, as I said, where there's just no heavyweights coming through. Actually, the scary thing actually with American boxing is, in general, you can always sort of get a good gauge of it through the amateurs. And the Americans haven't been good in the amateurs for quite some time. And it used to be back in the day that the Americans sort of dominated the sport. And maybe it's a good thing now that they don't. But I don't know. I'm just from the generation where all the best fighters and all the best and biggest fights were all in America. As I said, some people think it's a good thing now, but since the Russians and all that have sort of, been able to turn pro and really sort of got their claws into professional boxing, has it been as exciting, and have we got the biggest fights? Don't know. I mean, it has got us the likes of Usyk and Lomachenko and these types of guys, and Triple G and these types of guys, but yeah, I don't know. But as far as the heavyweights goes, I'm sure there'll be one that'll come along at some stage. I mean, there'll be someone that'll just, that'll take, will it be the great American hype? It used to be the great white hype, the great white hope. Will there be a great American hope? Because that's the sort of stage we're at now, and it's sort of unthinkable considering that it used to be all about the Americans and the big fights over there. But times have changed, and maybe we've got to accept it. We're all trying to get our heads around at the moment all this stuff going on in Saudi Arabia and the different way fights are shown these days, and the different formats they're shown on the different networks and streaming devices, all that sort of stuff. Maybe we've just got to get our heads around the fact that world boxing, and especially heavyweight boxing, is not centralised in America anymore. It's England and Russia and Saudi Arabia. Who knows? But is it a good thing or not? I don't know. I'm still trying to get my head around the whole thing, and I'm sure I will, but I still, if I'm being honest, think back to the days of the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s early 2000s where those heavyweights ruled the division. So anyway, guys, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. I'm sure everyone's got their own opinions out there on a whole range of things. Let me know. And again, if you've got a topic or something you want me to talk about, again, just let me know and I'll be happy to do it. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for today. Hope you have a great Thursday, and we will catch you tomorrow.